Welcome to Leeds and welcome back to the Leeds Piano Competition. This is the third session. My name is Catherine Stott.
And I'm Petrock Trelawney. I thought you were going to forget that.
Oh,
how could we
forget you, Petrock?
Dear listener, dear viewer, she forgot my name. Welcome, welcome, wherever you're joining us in the world this evening. We've heard 4 fantastic young pianists. We've 6 more to go in the semi-finals of the competition. 2 ahead this evening. Elizaveta Klusharava from Russia and Priscilla Navarro from Peru. Musically coming up over the next few hours, César Franck, Judge Ligeti, Thomas Adès, and Bach, a complete performance of the Goldberg Variations.
This is going to be absolutely fascinating because I'm really interested to hear her approach to this outstanding work, and it's just fantastic, the variety of repertoire that we're so privileged to be able to listen to in this competition.
Yeah, no repeats in Goldberg. It'll be straight through. We'll be here for a very long time. Chamber music this evening. Well, we were talking earlier on to Jack Liebeck. He's going to play Beethoven's Violin Sonata in C minor, and we're going to hear once again Dvorak's Second Quintet. We're going to hear it 3 times in these semi-finals, and that means inevitably 3 very different performances.
Oh, I would imagine so, and completely different approaches, you know. And let's remind everybody they've only just got together. This is 2 rehearsals and a little touch-up on the day. So, yeah, can look forward to that.
Well, we've got great young pianists, brilliant young pianists on stage. But this competition is reaching out right across the city. We've heard about the Piano Trail, and the competition, the Leeds Piano Competition, is going into local schools here in Leeds too.
Show me your faces in 3. For us, it's been really important to give the young people a really rounded view of what music and what the piano is and can be. So one of the main events we've had on the trail is the Schools Carousel. And the Schools Carousel gave students a sample of the piano trail. So they did a carousel of 4 different activities, from a yoga session to live piano music, focusing on their well-being, to a classical music concert by our piano ambassadors, so they got a real sample of high-quality excellence. A lot of them have never seen or touched a piano before, or never mind seen it played to that high standard.
I liked it when they were making the hands go really fast. It looked really elegant, and it was really nice to see, and it calmed me down.
So can we give them a big clap and a cheer? Okay. It's your favourite. We also had a workshop with Leeds Allotment Federation to look at where the seeds of the piano come from.
What we're going to do is we're going to look at the mechanism inside a piano and how a piano works.
And they also did a workshop with our sculptors, Pianodrome, to get their hands on parts of piano and see the inner intricacies of a piano. Not only was it a joy to see the kids' faces absolutely light up, but today we received an email from one of the teachers who said when she got back to school, the first response she heard from one of her students, was him shouting, "That was the best field trip, school trip ever," which was really exciting to hear. So for us, our hope and our goal of our education programme is to really inspire our younger generation to engage with music education, to engage with all the spirit around the piano. And hopefully amongst our young people that we engage with, we might have a future winner, a future competitor even. But even if we don't, it's for them to engage with, enjoy and embrace all that is really cool about the piano.
It's really great to see that work happening, isn't it? I mean, getting a new generation of young people interested in the piano is really vital, isn't it?
I love seeing their little fingers just moving, just getting ready.
We're about 10 minutes away from our first pianist on stage this evening. We're joined by the chairman of the jury of the 2021 Leeds International Piano Competition, Dame Imogen Cooper. Welcome back.
It's lovely to be here, both of you.
Imogen, it's so wonderful to have you here. I'm dying to ask you a question because as a listener, and not a jury member, I'm finding this round particularly fascinating because of, obviously it's great to hear the contemporary music as well, but the chamber music, because it's really interesting to hear what happens when they're on their own and what happens when they're collaborating.
I quite agree. I mean, for me, it's beginning to fill out the picture very well. I think we're quite strong in this competition at looking for a really wonderful musician as well as a tremendous pianist. And in a short space of time, like a few days, there's actually no better way of doing it than putting them together with other musicians. I mean, there's more than one way of doing chamber music. You can just sit there, play the score very well, do your thing, and not relate very much to the others. And sometimes it can still sound great. But you can also interact with the others, hear what their sound world is, adjust. It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, and it's one that we've wanted to put them through, not least because of this wonderful repertoire.
I think it's interesting, isn't it, that the fame of the Leeds is around barnstorming performances of great concertos on the stage of Leeds Town Hall with the CBSO or the Halle or the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic, as it is this year. But there are many different ways of having a career as a pianist, aren't there?
There are, certainly, and I've always found as a jury member that the ones who capture my attention are the ones who know how to make a good sound the moment they put their hands on the keyboard and have an aptitude and a gift for bringing the best out of this really, frankly, stunning concert grand piano.
In this wonderful acoustic.
In this wonderful hall. And working with the acoustics too. Every hall is different. This one has very much its own characteristics. And there are those who can do that straight away, and those for whom it's maybe a little bit harder. Doesn't rule them out, but you know, it's an extra challenge for them.
It's interesting, isn't it, that you mentioned earlier on, Petra, that Thomas Kelly, for example, selected the Beethoven Sonata, which was comparatively short, under 20 minutes.
Yes, yes.
And we heard a Dvorak quintet earlier on that's almost 40 minutes or something.
Yes.
It's fascinating the way they've juggled their programs, isn't it? And
yes, and it's not entirely easy because they've been given a very firm brief. It's 75 minutes for this round. So that means cutting. I mean, look, we're going to get Goldberg variations later on. I presume the version without repeats, otherwise we should be here all night. And that won't be easier, you know, because the variations in themselves, quite a lot of the fast ones are not that long. So you've got the challenge of getting straight into the character, playing really well, and then wham, you're on to the next one. Whereas if there's a repeat, you've got time to get into it. They won't have that luxury this evening, so it'll be a particular challenge of its own.
Many people will have been with us on Friday evening as we announced the names of the 10 pianists going through into the semi-finals. You made a very touching speech thanking all 22 pianists who've been here in the first round, and it's always a horrible moment in many ways, isn't it, when you see the chairs begin to empty as those that are through come up to the stage and those that aren't stay in the auditorium. On Saturday, I know you spent a lot of time talking to all 12 pianists. And all the jury did, and I just wonder, without saying anything, obviously, in terms of the conversation, but what that was like as an experience, how useful it was for you and for them.
Oh, I found it completely wonderful. I did the same 3 years ago. Very different atmosphere this time. They're incredibly, all of them, they're incredibly mature, composed, passionate to know info. Tell me, I want to know. Taking it on board, sometimes even telling me what they thought had not gone so well, and they were right. Not one of them got it wrong. So I was hugely impressed by it and actually found it a very rather humbling experience. I went back to a piano immediately and started practicing. You know, seriously, because it made me feel so good. They're a very impressive bunch, all of them.
Well, continue doing your good work.
I'll try my
with
very
the jury
best.
and continue. We should just remind people that no discussion is allowed between members of the jury. So when you go back to the hotel afterwards, you might have a nightcap, and the conversation can be about cars or holidays or football. But it can't be about the artist.
No, we haven't even got the US Open anymore. That's the terrible thing. So.
Thank you very much indeed.
Not at all, my
for
pleasure.
joining us. Dame Imogen Cooper,
you.
Who is chairman of the jury here at the Leeds International Piano Competition. Very, very close to our first pianist on stage this evening, the fifth of our semi-finalists, Elizaveta Klusharava from Russia. And let's just remind ourselves of her performance in the second round of the competition. Here she is, playing a Chopin Polonaise. Elizaveta Klusharava playing Chopin's Polonaise Fantasy in the second round of the competition. So we're going to hear a couple of Ligeti etudes from her, Autumn in Warsaw and The Devil's Staircase. We're starting with César Franck.
Oh yes, and this is definitely one of my most favourite pieces in the piano repertoire. César Franck was an organist, as you know, but he was a prodigious pianist when he was younger. But I do think towards the end of that piece, when you get to the end of the fugue, you really feel as if he pulled out all the organ stops. So it's very touching piece. It's very personal and very beautiful. And
we're also going to hear Rachmaninoff, the polka DWR. WR, the initials of Rachmaninoff's father, Vasily Rachmaninoff, spelt with a W. Here we go, Elizaveta Klusharava coming onto the stage in the semi-final of the Leeds Piano Competition. Devil's Staircase by Judge Ligeti. Before it, Autumn in Warsaw, two of his etudes. What a glorious piece The Devil's Staircase is.
Oh, God, it's absolutely fantastic. I was looking at the score, and Ligeti writes 8 Fs.
Rachmaninoff next. 22-year-old Russian pianist Elizaveta Klusharava performing Polka DWR, a piece written by Rachmaninoff based on a tune by one Franz Baer that Rachmaninoff thought was written by his father Vasily, hence the WR of the title. Now, we didn't have much time to talk about the ligeti. You were just saying that there are 8 Fs there in a row.
It's fantastic. If you look at the score, it's asking you all the time, ferocious, maximum. You see, I mean, you know, quite often in music you have forte and then you have this double F, and that's pretty strong. But then when I started thinking, oh, here's 6, and then I think the maximum is 8. I mean, you know, she really had to work super hard there, but, you know, it was fabulous.
I closed my eyes during that and just listened to what was a really magical journey in sound. The climb up the staircase, getting ever harder. I sort of felt a bit breathless by the end.
Yeah, it's pretty ferocious stuff, and I think that's why she would have taken just a little break to just collect her thoughts before that absolutely charming polka of Rachmaninoff.
Yeah. And we had Autumn in Warsaw, the other of those ligeti etudes. You were talking about them earlier on, 18 of them, written between 1985 and 2001, and it's really fantastic hearing them as part of the non-negotiable repertoire for this piano competition. You get a list of, I think, 8 or 9 pieces written in the late 20th century or in this century, and you have to include one of them.
Absolutely, and so far we've had music by Thomas Harders, we've got ligeti etudes, and there's one just
George Benjamin, of course.
Absolutely, George Benjamin, and we've got a quartet coming up. So just fantastic that these ligeti etudes have really entered the repertoire, and I think it's just, I mean, obviously they're extremely difficult technically, but they're just such fantastic and evocative, and you know, if I tried to play them all, I'd send for the ambulance now, Petrok.
You'll have spotted people on the stage behind us who aren't pianists. That's because we're doing the magical Leeds stage move, getting the microphones in place and the chairs for the Castalian String Quartet, who are going to accompany Elizaveta now, and it's our second performance of the day of Dvorak.
And it's going to be really interesting to compare with the previous performance. And it's not an easy task for the quartet to play with another pianist in quick succession like this.
I think we're going to get 3 very different accounts of this work, because we're going to hear it again tomorrow. There are the quartet backstage with Elizaveta. Here they come, Elizaveta Klusharava with the Castalian Quartet to perform Dvorak. Elizaveta Klusharava playing Dvorak's second quintet with the Castalian Quartet.
Absolutely wonderful performance there. I think she can be very happy with that. It felt very kind of cohesive with the quartet. She looked to be enjoying herself. It was a very well-rounded performance. I enjoyed it enormously.
On stage with the quartet, Cindy Simonon and Daniel Roberts, the violinists, Charlotte Bonneton, viola, and Christopher Graves, cello. We're going to meet Daniel and Charlotte very shortly. They're going to come straight from the stage to our medici.tv position. Elizaveta Klusharava, the fifth semi-finalist in this 2021 Leeds Piano Competition, which means we are at the halfway point. 5 semi-finalists down and 5 more to go.
Oh, it's thrilling, isn't it? I absolutely love this round because you get a whole sense of the pianists in all their capacity. They've got free choice of repertoire, but at the same time they have to choose some contemporary music, and then this chamber element, and it's really showing all kinds of things that perhaps the jury have not heard in previous rounds.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tricky, I think, so far.
Yeah, I think it's really very interesting. We have, as I say, 5 more pianists to go in these semi-finals. Welcome if you've just joined us, wherever you are in the world. You're watching the semis of the Leeds International Piano Competition 2021 live here on medici.tv. As I say, we're going to meet a couple of members of the Castalian Quartet very shortly. Before we do that, let's go back 3 years to the last Leeds, 2018, and see in action in the final at Leeds Town Hall the pianist who came second last time, German pianist Mario Herring.
We've just been listening to Mario Herring there, playing Beethoven's first piano concerto in 2018 when he won second prize. Now look, I've been joined here by members of the Castellian Quartet, sorry, that's better, isn't it? Daniel Roberts and Charlotte Bonneton. First of all, congratulations. 2 Dvořáks in a day, how's that?
Wow. Pretty exhausting, especially when you have to concentrate on who's playing what. I mean, and for my second violin seat, I don't get to see which pianist is playing.
So you had to remember that from your rehearsals.
But it's obvious from their playing. It's you know.
And it was very, very different. I mean, it's, you know, there are many, many different ways of playing chamber music, as we know, but they were completely different without saying who was playing what. Very different approaches. And very interesting to listen to from this seat, anyway.
Yeah, well, I think that almost certainly represents what it was like in rehearsals, really, for us.
Okay.
And 2 absolutely valid and inspiring approaches, but completely, you know, different sides of the coin. You know?
Completely different, and fascinating to have all that in one day, and an awful lot of work for you too. I mean, it's a lot of work to retain all that information. Charlotte, tell me what it's like. I mean, as a quartet, you're very much a unit, aren't you? And then you have this 5th person coming in, whether it's a pianist or an oboist or whatever. What's that actually like? You know, because you must have some kind of idea how you would like to play the Dvořák quintet.
Yes, and also this is a different context in the sense that we really are serving them for the competition. So we are trying to get inspired by them and also inspire them without influencing too much on their very set idea that they have, but still giving them what we have as a quartet.
I thought you were wonderfully supportive because you really played your hearts out. So you weren't kind of being subservient, but you were being true colleagues, which is what chamber music is really all about, isn't it?
Absolutely,
yeah. And that takes a new life on stage, of course, and the pianists are completely different on stage to rehearsal, and we react to that.
Yeah, well, that's what happens,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's when the fireworks start, or the non-fireworks. And isn't it just the most terrific piece? I mean, it's so
gorgeous.
beautiful to play,
It's
isn't
so
it?
uplifting. I mean, that's if we were playing one thing many times, I think the Dvořák's a good choice.
So this is a fantastic way to come back into chamber music life after all these too long, you know, without any music.
It's like a big celebration.
A big celebration, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to hearing you again tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Brahms?
Another Dvořák as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Okay, and now we're just going to have a little look back again in time. Let's have a listen to Andras Schiff playing the Bach harpsichord concerto in 1975.
András Schiff, Hungarian by birth, but a treasured British artist, and fabulous to see him there in 1975 at the final of the Leeds International Piano Competition that year. Who will reach the finals this year, Friday and Saturday night in Leeds Town Hall? If you're enjoying what you're watching of our coverage, don't forget to think about making a donation to help the Leeds, help young pianists. Very simple, just press the button on your screen at leedspiano.medici.tv. Help us to support our pianists. Supporting our pianists on Saturday evening and Friday evening will be the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Andrew Manzi. Andrew Cornell is artistic director of the orchestra and is with us now. Welcome. It's fantastic to have the Liverpool Phil back with the Leeds, because it's a long relationship, isn't it?
It's a long relationship, and we're very much looking forward to it. It's you know, the Leeds is refreshed, and we want to be part of that journey with them.
So it's a new partnership, this, isn't it? But you're here specifically listening to these rounds because you're searching for the person who's the best communicator of the contemporary music.
That's right. We're doing quite a lot of things with the Leeds in the collaboration. Well, one of the things we wanted to do was give a prize for the best contemporary music performance. And the prize is not monetary, it's a promise. It's a promise to commission a new work for that person who will choose. And that could be a piano solo, it could be a piece of chamber music, it could be a full-blown piano concerto with the orchestra, or with our ensemble 1010, our contemporary music group.
That's a really fantastic opportunity, isn't it, for a young pianist to actually be able to work with a composer and with a promoter to ensure that a new piece of music is created for them that doesn't just get lost, that gets real.
And that's what we wanted to do, and we want to have that conversation with the winner to work through what we can do and what they want to do as well. And within the next 3 years, you know, the cycle of the Leeds competition, we want to have got that commission in, invited that winner back, and done the commission and the performance.
It's incredibly exciting because it's really nice. And this person may or may not be somebody that goes through to the finals. And it's not necessarily that somebody that's going to be a winner, but it's who you feel in this particular field is really representing their contemporary music well. So this could be an extra bonus.
And you're having a great time at Liverpool Phil at the moment. A new chief conductor after a fabulous chief conductor who's gone. You've got full halls. You've got a real sense of an orchestra that's rooted in its community.
Well, I think that's very much what we believe in. You know, we've just done our first 2 weeks with Domingo Hindoyon. We've had a great time. Domingo's a wonderful person. The orchestra are enjoying the journey, the start of a new journey. We had a 15-year journey with Vasily, and we did some amazing things in that time. And yes, the orchestra is rooted in the community and part of what we do for the region.
And briefly, all three winners, gold, silver and bronze, will perform in Liverpool with the orchestra or in your chamber series before the end of September.
That's right. That's part of the collaboration. The second and third prize winners will be doing lunchtime concerts next week, and the winner, a week on Thursday, will be performing in the Liverpool Phil, their first concerto performance after the winning performance that they have here. And the chamber music winner as well will also be in one of our chamber music series going forward. So it's important for us, and we're looking forward to the collaboration over the years.
Andrew Cornell, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Really fantastic that, isn't it, Kathy? I mean, what an opportunity to win a competition on a Saturday night, and then the following Thursday you're performing a concerto with one of this country's greatest orchestras.
Absolutely, because it then becomes real life. You know, it's not like just a sort of dream scenario, and, you know, this has been quite a journey, these 10 days here, but it's fantastic to think, okay, that's it, I've got something immediately and my career is off.
Yeah. Listen, the jury are coming back in. I can hear the audience back in behind us. So let's move on and meet our sixth semi-finalists. Priscilla Navarro from Peru. A reminder of her appearance in the second round when she entertained us all with the music of George Gershwin. Priscilla Navarro proving that she got rhythm. She certainly did, didn't she? In the second round.
Absolutely, and I'm sure she's going to show that she's got rhythm now in the Bach Goldberg variations, because this has got lots of pulse issues. It's a long journey, but it's not as long as it normally is, because hopefully she's not doing the repeats. But
I'd love her to be doing
well,
repeats,
I would too in a normal time.
She would then, I think, break the rules of the competition,
Exactly.
which say in the semi-final each artist must play for no more than 75 minutes, and that includes a piece of chamber music. She's going to play Beethoven's Violin Sonata in C minor with Jack Liebeck. We'll talk a bit more about that later on. There she is, though, ready to go in, well, gorgeous greeny gold dress. That's beautiful, isn't it? And her trademark turquoise glasses.
Absolutely. She's looking just a little bit anxious at the moment, but probably just wanting to get out there now and come on. Those moments of just having to wait for a few seconds can be a little bit intimidating.
Well, whether Bach wrote this to help a count go to sleep, as is the story, or whether it was for another reason, it is a masterpiece of music, the Goldberg Variations by Bach. And to play it for us, Priscilla Navarro. Bach's Goldberg Variations, played by Priscilla Navarro, and next her contemporary work, The Three Mazurkas by Thomas Addis. 27-year-old Peruvian pianist Priscilla Navarro, playing the Three Mazurkas by Thomas Adès. And before that, we heard Bach's Goldberg Variations. There she is backstage with Jack Liebeck, who she's going to be back on stage with in just a couple of moments' time to play Beethoven's Violin Sonata in C minor. Well, that was a wonderful sense of a meditative moment here in the hall in Leeds as we listened to the Goldberg Variations, Kathy.
Absolutely, and it's quite a feat of concentration for a pianist, especially under these conditions, and to play them without the repeats, because you have to get into your stride very, very quickly.
And as you were saying, some of them are really tiny without the repeats.
Absolutely, really short, so you just have to be able to kind of switch mode very quickly. I thought the ending of the Variations was very, very beautiful, the way she just really pared everything down. But she plays it in a very kind of natural style of today, really using the modern piano. I mean, I think she wasn't frightened to do that, and that was her way of doing it.
let's talk about the Beethoven that we're about to hear. I mean, my goodness, we're on a journey here from calm at the start to something almost violent at the end.
Yes, and at the time that Beethoven wrote this, things were really changing. The piano was changing, the instrument was changing, violins were changing. They were being adjusted all the time to make bigger sounds. They were playing this in bigger halls. So this is really a piece that starts to push the boundaries.
And in a sense, it tied in with his own development as an artist and as a human, didn't it? This was published in 1803. The point he was coming to terms with his deafness, wanted to write music on a grander scale, and the improvements in pianos at the time suited that.
Absolutely, and this is so full of passion. So this is going to be Priscilla's moment to share collaboration with Jack and really kind of pitch that sound as she wants it to be heard now.
Well, there they are, waiting together backstage. Jack Liebeck, one of the official chamber artists of the Leeds Piano Competition 2021, coming on with Priscilla Navarro, and we will hear Beethoven's Violin Sonata in C minor. Leeds semi-finalist number 6 of 10, Priscilla Navarro, playing Beethoven, the violin sonata in C minor, opus 30, number 2, with chamber music partner Jack Liebeck.
Absolutely wonderful to have Jack with us as well, I must say. And that really felt to me like music making. I totally forgot that we were in the middle of a competition, and that's what I think is so wonderful about having chamber music in here. When it works, you know, they get together very briefly, very quickly, but it just felt like they were making music together, and we were privileged to be listening.
I think it's really worth pointing out that when that sonata, one of 3 sonatas, was published in 1803, it was published very much as a sonata for piano with violin accompaniment.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, I mean, in whichever order it's actually printed, but, you know, the piano is absolutely integral to that. And all that turbulence that happens in that first movement, that rumbling away, I mean, you can't get that without all that piano. And then, you know, that just, my heart just melted just listening to that theme of the second movement, isn't it? Just so beautiful. And, you know, he handed that to the piano to change that mood totally. But I think bravo Priscilla, I mean, she was really in that and open to communication and following Jack at the same time.
So Priscilla Navarro from Peru, our 6th out of 10 semi-finalists here at the 2021 Leeds International Piano Competition. Have you enjoyed today overall?
I very much enjoyed it, and I hope our audience have. And if you have enjoyed it as much as we have, please do contribute something to the Leeds Piano Competition. They're really doing everything they can to support these wonderful young pianists. Please find the link to donate on the homepage. Wherever you're listening from, whether it be China, Australia, any currency, we take we take it all. So
the dollar, the peso, the yen, the mark, yuan,
anything. But it really does seriously go to help these wonderful young pianists.
Yeah, no, please, if you can donate, do. So tomorrow we have, first of all, at 2 o'clock, Japan's Kaito Kobayashi, followed by Yuzhang Li from China. And then in our evening session tomorrow, the Ukrainian pianist Dmitry Chony, followed by the Kazakhstan pianist Alim Baysembayev. 2 broadcasts tomorrow, 2 semi-finalists in each, 1:45 British Summertime the first, 6:45 British Summertime the second. We were talking earlier on this evening with Andrew Cornell about the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra, who we're going to see on stage at Leeds Town Hall on Friday and Saturday evenings in the grand final of this competition, when each of our 5 finalists will perform a piano concerto conducted by Andrew Manzi. We were talking about how they've just said farewell to one fantastic music director, Vasily Petrenko, who really brought the orchestra back to life and has seen sell-out halls at their home, Philharmonic Hall on Hope Street in Liverpool. They've got a new music director now, Domingo Hindoyan. You were reminiscing about your long connections with the orchestra. You did some good early work there.
I did most of my early work, I think, with the Liverpool Phil, and I played Beethoven's Emperor Concerto here in the final in 1978. And off that, they gave me a lot of concerts, and I think for about 2 years, all of it was Beethoven's Emperor. And after a while, I did say to them, you know, I do play something else. Please let me loose on some Rachmaninoff.
And they gave it to you.
Yes, they did.
Fabulous. Happy memories for Catherine Stott. With me, Petrok Trelawney, here in the Great Hall of Leeds University in these semi-finals of the 2021 Leeds International Piano Competition. The Royal Liverpool Philharmonic will be with us for the finals on Friday and Saturday. You'll see those live, exclusively live here at medici.tv. 1:45 and 6:45 for our broadcast tomorrow. Just to remind you of the pianists you're going to see: Kaito Kobayashi from Japan, Yuzhang Li from China, Dmytro Chony from Ukraine, and finally Alim Baysambayev from Kazakhstan. If you want to catch up with their performances in the second round, you'll find those at leedspiano.medici.tv, where you can find all of the pianists we've seen so far in the competition. Wishing you a good night's sleep.
Absolutely.
Or a good day's work, if that's your time zone.
Yeah, wherever you are, whatever time of day it is. But look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.
Good night.